shoot my shot at all these hoes, I fuck my shoulder up. Travis, what if they twins and they Siamese, but they won't fuck us both?
Oftentimes, whenever you're cooking up, you feel like you're on the right track, you know, you're making hard beats, but you just sometimes feel like something is missing. Now, not every single beat is gonna be a hit, but there's something which I'm gonna show you in this video, which is without fail gonna make your beats way more catchy, they're gonna stand out more, and yeah, it's just a very simple fix. So in today's video, I'm gonna be breaking down a dark melodic beat, which is extremely catchy, and I'm gonna walk you through the whole process step by step on how you can make your beats stand out way more. But yeah, without too much talk, let's just get into the video. Alright, first step, I say this in every single video of mine, but just keep things simple, right? The big reason behind that is the less elements you have, the more space you can give to every single one of them. So if you have like 50 instruments and layers, like everybody is gonna be fighting for that space, you know, just to shine. But the less elements you have in the song, the more they're gonna stand out. Now, starting off with the first layer, we have a piano. I'm using Spitfire Audio Labs, which is a free plugin, and specifically for this one, I'm using the Tape Piano Tape Head preset, which is a very cool vintage preset. We're in the key of B minor, and we basically have one chord, which is kind of built like two chords, but I'm gonna explain. So starting off, everything evolved from a simple B minor triad chord. Here I have the root note, which is gonna be B. Then I have the third of the chord, which is gonna be D. And then I have the fifth of the chord, which is gonna be this F sharp. Basically what I did next was I just took the notes, I started pitching them up, I started pitching them down, and I came up with this bass melody, which sounds like this. This is the exact same pattern playing over 4 bars. The only difference here in the second part is instead of having this E, I dropped it down to B, which is the root note. And right after that, just by using the notes from the scale and mostly from the chords, I just laid down this top line melody, which is basically just going up and then down and then up and then down. So it's just like a wave. And I found that this motion in every single melody pattern makes it extremely catchy. So if we listen to the top line melody on its own, it sounds like this. Now, I'm assuming that this just has to do with how simple the melody is, and it's very easy to hum it out. And usually whenever you can just hum a melody or, you know, just whistle it out, it's very easy for that melody to, you know, just get in your head. But yeah, moving on to the next layer, you're gonna see that I've basically applied this thing to every single one of them. Now, as far as effects go on the piano, I have this EQ taking out the low end. Then I have this RC20 with the Vinyl 1 preset. And then I just have this simple small reverb, which is adding a little bit more dimension to the whole piano. Now, moving on to the second sound, I went ahead and added this flute. So it's called the Passion Flute. It's from Contact. If you ask me, this is probably one of the most realistic ones you can get. Thing that I like about this Contact bank is whenever the notes are playing, you have this like bar which, you know, just displays the air which is, you know, running out whenever you're playing a flute. Can't hold a single note forever, and this kind of emulates that, if that makes sense. So you can just see how it's moving the longer you hold a note. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I have this EQ, which is taking out all the harsh frequencies. Again, we're just trying to soften the sound a little bit more. Then I have this Fruity Stereo Shaper, so basically I'm just making it a little bit more wide. And once again, I have RC20 with the Vinyl 1 preset, the exact same preset as the piano, Valhalla Vintage Reverb, but this time it's a little bit bigger. Now, as far as the whole melody goes here, once again, you can notice that I'm using this whole wave pattern. So it's playing, it's going up, then it's going down, then it's going up, and then it's going down again. So whenever I was making the sample, I initially had this violin which I added, but I ended up taking it out since, you know, it just didn't make sense. But for this, I used the Chris Hine violin, plays this pattern, which once again, we're using this wave motion. So we're going up, then down, then up and down. But since I didn't use this layer, what I did was basically I just took all these 3 layers together, I exported them to an audio file, which I then pitched up a whole octave up, and it sounds like this. And what I did was basically, instead of using pads, I turned it into an ambience layer, which is just used to fill out the whole sample. So as you can see, the effects are pretty damn long. So I'm not gonna sit and, you know, just explain 20 effects, but instead I left the whole mixing chain in the description. You can go get that for free. But yeah, basically it went from this to this. And once we had that covered and sample was filled out, I added some low end, and like always, I got flicks, and I'm using the BB Flat Wound Edge preset. So I went ahead and added this bass line, and as you can see, while we're still following the root notes, you know, of the chords which we made, we're still using this whole wave pattern, which is going up and then going down. And as far as effects go on the bass, I'm using Guitar X6 with this clean plug bass preset and the CQ, which is cutting out some of the high end. So with all the sounds added together, this is how the final sample sounds like. Before we move on to the final song, which I'm gonna add acapella vocals like always, let's break down the drums. Again, I'm keeping the drums fairly simple, and starting off I have this 2-step hi-hat with 160 BPM, which is very fast, and if I were to add rolls and all that stuff, the whole beat is just gonna be too much. Simple snare pattern, and then every 4 bars I have this counter snare, then I have this open hat, and finally I have this extremely simple kick pattern. Now all the drum sounds come from my drum kits, which are free. You can go get them in the description, and this is what the drums sound like. This is how the final song sounds like.
Dog nigga, I make a mistake and short. Where I shoot my shot at all these hoes, I fuck my shoulder up. Travis, what if they twins and they Siamese, but they won't fuck us both? Why would she wanna suck her toes? I'm trying to make her come. Told her throw it back and put that pussy on me.
Told her sit it on this dick, I took the glizzy on me. And you know this life been busy, man, I'm busy, homie. And I come through, throw a pack, she never leave me lonely. Yeah, I can't do no cuddles, can't stay till the morning. She an angel in the streets, a demon undercover. Lot of shorty like I hate her, fuck her like I love her.